music is coming soon. I can't be specific about it, but it is something that I am happy about and proud of and excited about, and means that I'll get to tour again soon, which is great
Yeah.
because we haven't gotten to like headline in a while and do
Hmm.
touring like on our own terms, and like since before COVID, and when we did it then it was kind of a disaster
Right.
sometimes. So I'm excited to get back into it.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, you did that album with Jason a couple years ago, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Melina, who I love.
Yeah. That was that
Who
was
thinks
very,
that
very, very
my
good record.
thank you. She thinks that my love for basketball is like hilarious.
Well, I do find that, it's like in this realm, there's people who love it and there's people who just don't understand it at all.
Yeah, and you run into some people, like I run into people all the time, just like in bands and stuff that
Yeah.
are also into it. It's so fun every time.
Awesome. So good. Um, but yeah, I mean, you said you're excited to tour again, but you played some shows recently, right? Do you played with
Yeah,
Tomberlin last week?
yeah, some local shows. I live in Brooklyn now, and I played two shows with Sarah Beth. One that was a few days ago, and one that was like a month ago.
Nice.
Um, because I love her so much, and
Yeah.
also, but the shows were solo shows, so it's not
Hmm.
full band stuff. My bandmates both live in Philly, so it's a little like
Sure.
tough to coordinate that sometimes. But I also enjoy playing solo, so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
good with that.
definitely. Yeah, and judging from your Instagram stories, you hang out with quite a lot of musicians, at least lately. I
Yeah,
saw you with Adrian Lenker and yeah, Tomberlin and Sam Evian, some cool people, man.
yeah, I mean, I'm lucky to have really cool friends. I mean, I've been kind of touring for a while, and
Yeah,
there's a very specific kind of friendship that you can cultivate with someone when you're both touring musicians because, I don't like Adrienne, for example, I've been friends with for like a few years and we're really close, but it's
yeah,
rare that we get like time together, not like at a show or when someone's on tour.
for sure.
And then Sam, I love, and I think I was at his studio, and it's just incredible. His studio,
Yeah,
Flying Cloud, recommended to anyone who wants to record anything.
awesome. Yeah, and I mean that also helps that you're in New York, which has it a lot of people in a close area. I feel like there's a lot of people in like upstate New York too.
Yeah, that's where the studio is. So
Yeah,
Sam's studio is in Woodstock. But yeah, I mean, there are a fair amount of people here. And, I feel like most of my music friends are actually like in LA or spread out,
sure.
but there's like a really sick core group of people here and a really awesome music scene. Like I've
Yeah,
been seeing a bunch of bands recently that have been blowing my mind. Just yeah, around
awesome.
the city.
Was there anything in particular you've been listening to lately that you've been enjoying?
That I've been listening to the new SZA album a lot. I know
Hmm.
that it's been out for like a month, but I've been listening to it a lot.
I mean, it's great.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm kind of obsessed with it. I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of really different shit. I was listening to Green Day the other day.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been kind of all over the place. I've been listening to Mariah Carey recently. That's been a new
You
thing
contain
for me.
multitudes. I mean,
I kind of do
yeah.
sometimes. Yeah.
I mean, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I love when you find yourself and you have absolutely no reason for getting back into something you haven't listened to in ages, but it just
Yep.
pops in your brain.
Yeah. Sometimes it just happens that way.
Well, as far as basketball goes,
Mhm.
you are a Knicks fan. Have you always been a Knicks fan? You grew up rooting for the Knicks?
Yeah, I grew up a Knicks fan. I've always rooted for the Knicks. My dad is a huge Knicks fan and has been practically his whole life. And
Yeah,
so is my uncle. And so just like in the family, Knicks always a thing. My cousins and I were fans, all are still fans.
for sure. Do you
And
have
I grew
any
up
go ahead.
well, I grew up like playing basketball too. Like that was the only sport that I was excited about playing about because I
Hmm.
wasn't really that interested in sports. I was like, obviously interested in like stupid shit like guitar and like, but yeah, I did love basketball and I did get to play basketball kind of a lot as a kid.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you had any like, kind of basketball memories growing up, like going to Knicks games or playing, yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Knicks games a fair amount, and yeah, I've been to a lot of games and I love going to games like so much. It's like my one of my all-time favorite things to do. It's
Yeah.
like up there with, I don't know, playing shows and eating food. But I just yeah. So those are good. I was at Jeremy Lin's breakout game. I
Ooh,
was at
that's
that
awesome.
game. That was pretty fucking insane. That was actually I was at that game with Sadie Dupuis from Speedy Ortiz, who's a
Oh,
really
that's
close
so
friend of
cool.
mine, and that was like a crazy night. But
Yeah,
that was a pretty big memory of
I was gonna say that feels
listening.
like kind of a core memory made right
That
there.
was a pretty core memory. That was pretty insane. Um,
Did you
yeah.
see the Linsanity documentary?
No, where is that?
I think it's on HBO Max.
HBO Max. Wow, that's pretty
Yeah,
big.
I too haven't
Okay.
seen it, but I've heard good things.
Okay.
And I
Yeah, I want to
yeah,
watch. That
high on
sounds
my
great.
list for sure. But that was an insane time for sure.
That was an insane time and feels like a million years ago. So
Right. Um. Yeah, it was mellow years. And have you seen the thing recently that's like, I feel like it keeps going around. People keep asking when you hear mellow, who do you think of? And it's Carmelo Anthony or LaMelo Ball. And the younger
yeah,
generation keeps saying LaMelo Ball, which is like insane.
that is insane. Yeah, no, I
Blows my
didn't.
mind.
I only think of Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Are you an active watcher? Like you consistently watch or not as much?
I here and there, honestly, I kind of like tune in and tune out. Like there will be times where I'll go in like bursts where it's like if
Yeah.
they're winning a lot or something, I'll like follow. Um, it depends, you
Hmm.
know, but
Yeah,
it's hard to stay
it
dedicated. It's a
is.
lot.
There's, and they're playing every few days, so it's like, yeah,
It's
it's
a
really hard
lot.
to catch it all.
In general, I'm like kind of not the fan that like I don't know like people's stats. I don't know like shit like you know what I mean? Like I don't like follow super closely, but I
Sure.
just like I just still love it, you know.
Yeah, of course. I may have a podcast about basketball, but I am just a fan. I'm not an expert, so that's
Okay.
why I like to do this, because I like to
That's
just
reassuring.
I just like to talk with people about why they like basketball.
Yeah.
It's,
You
I'm
might
not.
notice like I'm a little nervous for this podcast. I don't know if I'm acting nervous, but I'm like
No.
usually never nervous for podcasts or anything. But like this one, I'm like, whoa, stakes are high. Like
All
I'm talking about something really important.
right, now I got to ask you about Julius Randle's plus minus stats,
Yeah,
and
no. I was kind of like not sure if it was gonna be like that. And I like going into this was like, oh shit.
no, no,
Not
no,
like quiz
no.
them.
It's about the fandom, and just,
Yeah.
yeah, that's mostly what it's about for sure. But I mean, your Knicks are having a pretty good year, all things
They are.
considered.
It's like finally. I don't know. That is
Right.
the one thing about being a Knicks fan, and my dad too is like, he's devastated year after year. Every
Hmm.
single year we go into it and he's like, this is our year. This has been the thing my whole life. And then it's just yeah, it's
It's
never
so
our
it
year.
it is really funny how many people share that feeling with their
All of New
team, no
York
matter, unless you're a Lakers fan or
or
like
a
a
Nets fan.
Celtics fan or like Yankees, whatever. Like most teams,
No.
you're like, it's just it's never gonna happen.
It's so sad. Like
Yeah.
my dad is just like literally his dying wish. I mean, he's not dying, but it's like, his like thing is that he's like, I just hope I can see them win a championship before I die.
Yeah.
And I'm like, honestly, I just don't know. I just can't. I don't know. The
Well,
last one was in the fucking 70s.
right. And the thing with NBA
Not
too
good.
is cycles of teams just are so, they change frequently.
They do.
No, there's no such
Yeah.
thing as a dynasty that sticks around for like, 10, 15 years, except Warriors have been closing in on 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. The Knicks are like the opposite of a dynasty, whatever that is.
But you do have a good team now. I mean, you have
No, now we do. I know.
Randall and Brunson
Mhm.
and Barrett.
No, it's
And
sick now. It's great now, but for the past
yeah,
few years, it's been like pretty rough.
I know I said it's not stats, but statistically speaking, you have three players averaging 20 points, which is like pretty insane.
Pretty hot. I'm
Yeah.
pretty into that. Yeah, that's pretty hot.
Did you hear the latest nickname? People are asking what's the nickname for Brunson and Randall.
No.
My favorite one I heard was Bruju.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
That's interesting. Yeah,
Kind of sounds like a Dragon Ball Z character or something.
it does.
It's
It
all
totally
right.
does.
I could think of something better if you give me some time.
Yeah. But there is one thing I have, since we're talking about being a Knicks fan, there's one thing I have to bring up, and maybe you can address this on behalf of Knicks fans. Is
Well,
All-Star voting came out recently. Did you see the results lately?
no.
The only Knicks person represented in the top 10
Is it
of any
Jalen
position.
Brunson?
No, it's Derrick Rose.
Oh.
Why?
I don't know. That is
I,
confusing.
your Knicks fans got to represent. You got to show up because I definitely think
Yeah.
Randall and Brunson are both deserving of being in the game.
Man, yeah, we do have to show up. I think we're like a loyal fan base, but we're also tired.
Yeah,
We're all kind of tired.
yeah. Well, yeah, I feel like most years, you guys may not have a good team, but you'll show up for the All-Star voting. And this
Yeah.
year, you're finally good, and
And
it's like, what's going on? All right,
yeah, I don't
but
know.
that I'm sure there's
We
still
can't
time
do
to get those
everything at
votes in.
once. We can't do everything at once. We got to slow steps.
Right.
Slow steps up.
You got to build up your trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Randall will probably make the game for sure in the end.
He should. He's so sick.
Yeah. When's
I
the
love
last
that
game
guy.
you went to?
Oh, the last game I went to was against the Timberwolves a couple months ago with my friend
Nice.
Maggie. Yeah, or a
Oh,
month ago. I don't know. Time is like insane.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feel that for sure. Um, yeah, I mean it's a good time to watch the Knicks. I'm a Bulls fan personally. And
Okay.
so there's always been that
Right, you're in
kind of
Chicago.
there's been a little bit of a Knicks Bulls thing kind of over the years, especially in the Jordan era.
Yeah. But you know
But
what? I definitely fuck with the Bulls.
yeah.
The Bulls are so cool. I can't
I've
not,
and
you
I've
know.
I feel like
That's so
there is a
cool.
similarity with the Knicks where it's like, the Bulls outside of the Jordan years, obviously blessed with that. But
Yeah.
um there is that perpetual feeling of like we're just gonna like hang around, maybe make the playoffs, but that's about it. And just like, but we're never bad enough to like get a good pick or anything like that. So just like
Yeah.
we're always like just hanging around the edge.
Just floating in the low middle
Yeah.
range. Yep.
But there is they are playing in Paris in a couple of days. By the time this episode's out, they'll be playing in Paris. But
Why?
I'm super excited for that. I
I
don't
didn't
know
know that.
why, but
I'm like, that's
it's
random to
kind of
me.
random. But I wish the NBA would do more stuff like that. Like with MLB, they do like the Field of Dreams game and like
Mm-hmm.
London, and I would love to see NBA do something like an outdoor game like for the
Yeah,
regular season. Like that'd be just so cool.
that would be really, really cool.
Um but yeah, have you been watching any games recently or
Here and there, not a ton. Once
yeah.
again, I actually had a moment where I really was watching, I cheated on basketball for the World Cup.
Oh
So
yeah, I
I
mean,
was watching the World Cup, but that was my first time ever watching soccer, and then I was like,
right.
this is kind of like basketball. I like it. They
Yeah.
move
I mean,
fast, you know.
it was the sort of thing where like I did not watch most of the World Cup, but I watched the final and I'm like, this is thrilling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I watched like a few of the final games.
Yeah.
So I cheated for a second. So
And
nothing,
that's
not,
okay.
yeah. It was a
Do you
pretty
have,
cool thing to watch. So
yeah, no, it was a really amazing game to watch, and it felt like, especially immediately following, it felt like everyone was like, this is maybe the greatest sports game I've ever seen.
it was pretty insane.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Yeah.
Um do you ever cheat on your Knicks? Watch any other teams in the NBA? You a fan of any other players or teams in
Well, I
the
mean, I've always loved LeBron. He's been around
Mhm.
like practically my whole
Yeah,
life at this point, which is crazy.
I
Like I was
know.
in 5th grade wearing like a Live Strong LeBron bracelet. Like it's crazy. He's been around for so long doing his thing. And so I'm just like, whatever team he's on, I don't hate to see him lose.
Yeah,
I like to see him win. I like it
for
when there's like
sure.
a legend, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
it feels weird to think that in a couple of years, like we won't have an NBA with LeBron in it.
it's just like cool to witness that, to like
Yeah,
witness a legend in action. Like I know that's like
absolutely,
the easy answer, but it's just like it's sick.
absolutely. Yeah, it's he had this stuff recently where he mentioned that he was the last thing he wants to do before he retires is play with his son, which is super cool. I totally
Oh,
respect that.
it's
Uh,
cute.
it would be cool if they got to play on the same team. Even like
Oh,
that'll be something to see for sure.
his son probably has to go through so much therapy.
Oh yeah, the pressure.
That's so intense.
Even like yeah, he's got two sons who they both play, and it's funny because the younger son, it seemed like he wasn't really like that into basketball. He's like, I like gaming. I want to
He's
kind of want to be like
rebelling.
a, but
Yeah.
then all of a sudden
Oh
he's
yeah.
great at basketball.
Of course. I mean, it's just like if you're given that gift,
I know.
you might as well take it. I wish I had it.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. When have you played basketball like in any time recently?
Like a real game.
Like, I mean, shot around.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. I moved back to Brooklyn. I'd lived here really briefly back in 2019, but I moved
Mhm.
here like a year ago. But before that, I was living like upstate, and then I was also living in Connecticut for a period of time. And when I
Yeah,
was like living in those areas, I would just take a ball to like a local court like all the time because there were just so many like yeah at schools and shit that nobody
for
was
sure.
using. So I was doing that a lot when I was like living and kind of out there without like friends nearby.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I've been really wanting to get a game together here. I think I'm just like more intimidated to walk around like where there are so many people being able to see me. Like I don't want to shoot by myself if people
Right.
can watch. I just like don't want that, you know.
I think I mentioned this to you before, but like I've toyed with the idea of doing like a tournament with featuring musicians. Like that would just be so fun.
Please, I would literally fly to Chicago for that.
But I mean,
But I'm
yes,
so
absolutely.
bad. I'm just like bad at like I'm like I can shoot, but I'm not like that useful on a
But
team.
I feel like that's the thing. Like no one's gonna be like amazing.
That's true.
Like
It
I
is
think
musicians. We're
the
not good
people
at
who
that.
probably play the most would be like Josh Berwanger from the Anniversary and like uh Alan Tate from Stanford Men used to play in
Oh,
college.
did he? Oh
Yeah.
my God, that's crazy. I know Alan. I didn't. Well, maybe he
Yeah.
told me
Yeah,
that.
you guys are
Yeah, but
both
I didn't
Brooklyn
know that.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had him on the podcast a couple episodes ago.
You should. This is not a musician artist, but like Seth, who I'm signed to Polyvinyl, and
Mhm.
he's like one of the guys at Polyvinyl. He's like so sick, and he went like he was a serious basketball player
Yeah.
like before he chose the music life,
Oh, awesome.
and I
Yeah, I
think
know
he's still probably
Natalie at
rages.
Polyvinyl is a huge basketball fan too.
Oh yeah. Well, if Seth, if you hear this, I know you're sick. I've seen some videos on Instagram, and it's sick.
I mean, obviously, label people get included in the game. Why not?
Yeah. And they have oh wait, they have a hoop. I think I shot wait, do they? I don't know. Whatever. Now I'm possibly just making stuff up. Anyway.
Well, maybe now that's a way to get this off the ground. Is we come together with Polyvinyl to put this on.
They would really be, I think, excited about that. I'm
Let's
just
make
gonna
it
speak
happen.
for all of them right now.
That would be awesome. And
Epic.
you know,
I know that the Always, the band Always is like Molly from that band.
yeah,
Huge basketball fan.
I
We
saw
played a
that in
few
an
shows with
interview.
them. Yeah, and we like talked about it once and I was like, "Whoa, you actually know like so much more than I do." I
Yeah,
felt like, "Whoa, I can't like keep up with her." She knows
yeah,
a lot.
I need to get her on the podcast as well.
You do. She's so
You know,
cool.
anyone you know, send them my way. Obviously,
Yeah. But I'm sure I don't know if she plays, but maybe she would be down to play the
yeah.
game. Just
Clearly,
trying to think of people
they're
who
also a little busy right now. You know,
they're
they're
so busy. Yeah, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about right now. I'm just trying to think of people I've talked to who like basketball, who play in bands.
well. I feel like there's usually, you know, what
So
I've
many.
noticed is people when you're on tour, there's like always like one person in the band who's like you kind of spot them out and you kind of talk basketball with them.
It's usually someone in a t-shirt or a jersey that I'm like,
Yeah,
"Hello."
right. And it's I feel like why do you think there is that basketball music connection? Well, I mean, it's tough to pinpoint, but I feel like there's something about basketball and like the like indie genre that connects.
Well, I think like basketball, and this is gonna sound so corny, but I think like basketball is like so fucking punk and so rock and roll. I think it's just like the most like I think it's just the coolest sport, frankly. And I think it's like a very I also think that it's like there's a lot of cool music that's like about basketball or
Hmm.
like for like you're playing basket.
Oh
I love
yeah,
that fucking shit.
hell yeah.
But like you don't hear songs like about baseball that are cool. You know, you don't hear any cool baseball songs. Football songs probably all suck. But you hear like cool basketball songs sometimes.
Definitely.
And
Yeah, I feel
I
like
don't know.
baseball
That was
songs
part
are
of it at
always
least.
like dads. Like it's like
Yeah.
what's his name? Fogarty, you know,
Yeah.
the song center
I don't
field.
nobody wants that, you know? But
Yeah, no, there's definitely I mean there's the culture behind it too. And I think there's something about the fact that the rosters are so much smaller. You
yeah,
can
they're
really
like rock
connect with a
stars, you
player.
know?
Yeah.
I feel like
It's
I looked
and
up to basketball players the same way I looked up to rock stars when I was a kid. You
yeah,
know, I was kind of
and
like they're yeah.
last episode I was talking with Chris Porterfield from Field Report and he was like um there's the same number of people in a band as there are in a team.
That too.
It just makes sense, you know.
We can relate.
Yeah.
I can relate to
You're
professional
pretty much an
basketball
NBA
players.
player.
I'm so close. I'm really close to that.
Cool. So the other thing I wanted to bring up, as I mentioned this when I reached out to you, is we could play a little game called
Yes, the
musician
game.
matchups.
Yes, I did my
So
my
the idea
preparations.
of this game is we'll go player by player, and the goal is to get who does this player sound like as a musician? Is
Okay.
it based whether it's how they play, what they dress like whatever it is, the reason you come up with it is what makes it fun, and we'll both
Okay.
go back and forth and compare our answers.
Okay.
So why don't we start? And I want to make sure I have the same ones that I sent you and I didn't change them.
I'm ready.
Jalen Brunson, did I send you that one?
You did.
Okay. Why don't you go first?
Okay. I kind of thought of Jalen Brunson as like Wet Leg, that band Wet Leg, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're both like young and kind of seem to have come out of like nowhere and are sick and just like kind of immediately are like killing it, you
Totally.
know?
Yeah, that's definitely a good comparison where like the Wet Leg's first album and it's like,
Yeah,
oh, huge
you know.
Oscars or not Oscars, Grammys.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
I feel like Jalen Brunson has similar energy where he's like immediately the star of like the Knicks or
because
something,
well, he
you know?
had that huge playoff run with the Mavs, and then he signed with the Knicks, and it's like
Hmm. And
I've
now he's a
arrived.
star. And now he's a star.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like he had his little, yeah.
I'm really happy that he's following up his big contract and actually playing well.
Yeah.
I'm glad it wasn't like a fluke in the playoffs and
No,
that he just kind of cashed in. Like he's still
no,
playing
he's
really well.
sick. He's so sick.
So that's really exciting. Very nice. Um,
Who was yours? You didn't say yours.
Jalen Brunson, I feel like it's definitely kind of like a similar trajectory. I don't know why I thought about this, but it kind of reminded me of Two Door Cinema Club back in the day.
Oh, cool. All right.
But it's and I'm hoping it's not the same trajectory where like they got huge quick, and I'm hoping he doesn't fall off like they did a little bit. They kind of like they've quieted down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of had the same reasoning as you did, and that they jumped up real quick.
Yep.
Um, so the next pick, Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Ewing. Okay, should I go first again?
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
everything. Okay, I kind of thought of Damon Albarn.
Oh, interesting.
Because he was like a star of a group slash like team slash band,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm talking about Damon now. And then he ended up doing Gorillas, where he was
Uh-huh.
like a leader position, like a coach, and Ewing is the coach of Georgetown now. And I kind of think like of Gorillas as Damon Albarn like being a coach of a bunch of different artists and like bringing a bunch of shit together.
Yeah.
Also Damon Albarn has won Grammys and Patrick Ewing has won Olympic medals. So I
Ooh,
kind of drew a parallel there.
that's good. Um, yeah, I totally see that. Uh, so with Ewing for me, I think the first thing I thought of is he's a guy who loves a wristband,
He
and
is a guy that loves a wristband.
wristbands are so punk.
Oh fuck yeah. Your answer is so much cooler than mine.
I feel like Patrick Ewing is Turnstile
That's cool. I can see
because
that.
he's
Just legendary shit.
he's legend. He's got like
Punk.
that kind of that like punk energy. Like he'll thrash around in the post, but he's also got that superstardom. And I feel like Turnstile, they're another band who like rose really quickly, and I feel like they're just kind of like the icon status with the punk rock flair.
Yeah. That's sick. I love
So
Turnstile.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that Turnstile album was
Who doesn't?
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next pick, who I struggled with, Amari Stoudemire.
I struggled with an Amari Stoudemire too. So all I say for this one is that he reminds me of Bradford Cox because he's tall and I think he's hot. That's as far as I got with Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Okay. I thought on this for a while and I struggled as well because I'm trying to think of like who is and I'd hate to obviously put any salt in the wound, but who's like a band that just like was big and then just kind of came to a halt and just
Yeah,
because
that's a so who'd you pick?
I still can't think of one, and I was thinking hopefully maybe
without
we
being
could
mean or
came up with
something.
one together because I struggle with that. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I don't know, and
A band that was
especially
huge and then came to a halt. Just like a one hit. Like that's not like really a one hit wonder
no,
situation
because
though,
I'd say he had a
because he's had a career, like a real career.
I'd say he had like two or three solid albums if we're calling it that.
Yeah, that's so strange. I'm having a hard
This might
time
be a tough
thinking.
one now because I thought on it for a while, and I don't know why I couldn't come up with it. I should have probably switched it around.
I can't think of anything either, and I feel like that's a really spicy answer too. I feel like
Why
I could
don't
say the wrong
we
thing.
move to the next and maybe we'll think of something? But
Okay.
it's another big one as we mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
Carmelo Anthony.
Mellow. Yes. Okay. So Carmelo Anthony, to me, I love him and he's amazing. We love Carmelo. He's a
Hmm.
huge ball hog. And which kind of made me think of like Eddie Van Halen. Because Eddie Van Halen is like always hamming it up and he's
Hmm.
amazing and we love to see it. We love to see him hamming it up every time. But he's
Totally.
always taking the spotlight in that band, like the band name like, is his name. And he kind of was like notoriously hard to work with and even like once actually opened a recording studio to make like Van Halen music with like minimal input from other band members, which feels like something Carmelo Anthony would
I mean,
do.
also the status level is there. Like
And the status level
it's
is
Van
there.
Halen, yeah,
It's like a huge legend, you know?
Hall of Famer.
Exactly.
That's a good one. Yeah. Um, I was trying to think of like just particularly like New York bands because
Mm.
I mean a lot of people like think of him at the Nuggets, but I feel like he really like hit his prime
No, we're
with the
talking about the
Knicks.
Knicks today. And
Exactly.
we're talking about the Knicks here.
Exactly. And I feel
Yeah.
like too a little bit of that iconography with a New York band. I feel like he's the Strokes.
Yeah, that's what I was anticipating you about to say. He is kind of
Cause
the Strokes. Like he kind of owned the city when he was here. He kind of still does. He
yeah.
always will. I saw a
Cause
video of him
also
like standing up at Madison Square Garden the other
yeah,
day and
yeah.
everyone going crazy for him.
And if I want to be punny, the Strokes, like,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's there. It's very much there. He probably has hung out with Julian Casablancas. I
I'm
would believe
sure.
it.
Yeah, I've heard he's
They've
also a
probably
big
been in a
basketball
room
fan.
together. I would love to see it though.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the next step in the journey is we're gonna do like a collab where I get a player and a musician together to
I'd
do something.
be even more nervous than I was before this. Although now I'm not nervous anymore because this was just really fun.
Yeah. Okay, I may have thought of something for Amari.
Okay.
It's another New York band. Who I haven't thought of them in a long time, but they were awesome and they were pretty intense. Do you remember the band Battles?
Oh yeah. I played a festival with them once, I think, and watched their set and was like, that's
They were
sick.
crazy for
They're
sure.
crazy. Is that the
Yeah.
duo? Are they a duo?
Yes. And
Okay,
and
yeah.
the
Sick
drummer
drummer.
plays the drums with like a really tall hi-hat.
Really tall hi hat and all that stuff. Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah.
That's sick.
And like
But I can see
insane
that now.
they had like two albums that were pretty insane.
Hmm.
They had that one song Ice Cream, which was just like it just gets stuck in your head. And then after that I haven't heard anything, and I kind of wish I did. And I wish
Yeah.
Amari was still throwing down.
Yeah. He plays for Israel now, doesn't he?
Oh man, does he?
Yeah. Boo. That was my other answer for Amari Sotomayor, but I didn't know if it was too spicy.
Yeah.
But I was like, maybe he's Regina Spektor because Regina Spektor is a Zionist and he is playing for Tel
Oh
Aviv right
wow, wow,
now.
wow.
That's my
That's a connection.
that's my spice. That
Yes.
was my spicy answer that I wasn't sure if I should say or not, and then I ended up saying both.
I'm
So
glad you did because it's all about honesty here.
that's what I'm trying to do.
I think Dwight Howard's like also playing overseas. I think he's in China or something.
Oh, is he?
It's
Yeah, I don't know.
it's it's crazy to see a like yesteryear, where Amari Stoudemire and Dwight Howard were dominating the NBA, and now they're both playing overseas. The
Yeah,
life cycle of an NBA player.
yeah, they live crazy lives.
Yeah,
Professional athletes.
definitely.
Can't relate.
Right.
Truly.
Well, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was
Um,
fun.
that's really all I had for that. Any plans to see any Knicks games in the future?
No, not right now. No plans. Yeah,
Do
no,
you normally watch like the All-Star game and stuff?
no. I just look at like highlights. I don't watch the
Yeah.
whole game, but I like look online and see all the highlights. you
The
know.
dunk contest is
That's
always been
fun.
it's a series of ups and downs, and like I feel like the lineup isn't out, like this year's lineup just so far does not seem too exciting to me, because
Yeah,
it's you want like the players, like you want John Morant in the dunk contest, but
you
it's
do want that,
you
but
get Shaden Sharp and people you're not familiar with, but
when is
hope
it?
usually it's around Valentine's Day. It's like
Oh,
around
that's
that same
soon.
week.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a point to watch it this year.
There you
This
go.
is gonna be my year to watch it.
Definitely. Well, in our Discord we do a watch party, and I think we're gonna do one for the dunk contest if
Let
you
me
want to
know.
join it.
Let
Yeah,
me know. Hit me up.
that'll be good. But yeah, that's all I got. Unless you got anything else you want to talk basketball about, but it's been a pleasure having you on
Yeah, it's been awesome doing this. This is sick. Thanks
for
for having
sure.
me.
And next time you come to Chicago, let's get you to do a half court session. That'd be
I would
awesome.
do like yeah, I would love that. Totally do
Awesome.
that.
Well, yes, I can't wait for the album, and thanks again for dropping in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, take care.